And I'm delighted to say, joining me for the show all today is Matthew Larser, former Labour Party advisor. Hello again.
Good morning, Julia.
Sporting, those who are watching on YouTube will notice, a Movember moustache, same as our good friend Benedict Spence yesterday.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think I might keep it for longer, but I know they're not universally popular with those watching.
Again, if you're viewing this, do get in touch with your verdict. I want you to know that the poll very, very clearly yesterday on what Benedict Spence looked like, very clearly came out 55% 70s porn star.
Well, it's a look. It's a kind of, you know, it's a look. It's a look.
It's a look.
It's a look.
And that's the best way of putting it. It's a look. Anyway, it's great to have your company.
It's lovely to be with you.
I mean, shall we start with e-scooters? Because that's what I want people to call in about. Mainly because it's like I get excited.
Absolutely.
I am genuinely, I've become the person that I would have laughed at, sort of, let's be honest, a year ago, 5 years ago, 30 years ago. But I'm the bin Nazi in my street. Put your bins in. I had to pick up the litter. I literally cleared up a whole load of rubbish that's been there for weeks and weeks and weeks. People have moved out, can't find the owner, and I've given up on the local council, and I just got my rubber gloves, I got my bin bags, and I cleaned it up myself. My husband said to me, "You're stark staring insane." I'm like, I can't bear... I walk past it twice a day, every day, and it's been 2 months. I just don't want it. And I had people going by going, "Oh, well done. We know that's not where you live. Well done." I'm thinking, well, someone's got to do it. I constantly battle with the cyclists and the e-scooters on the pavements, like maniacs. This fills me with absolute horror that the government is planning to legalise and regulate, they say, yeah, believe it when I see it, e-scooters, whether they're rented or they're private, on public roads. What do you make of that plan, Mark?
Yeah, so Lou Haigh, the Transport Secretary, in answer to questions at the Select Committee yesterday...
The one with the pink hair.
The one with the pink hair, absolutely. She has said that she was... yes, there wasn't parliamentary time at the moment to do it, but the government was keen to do it because she was aware that there were... she was aware of the issues, I think was her phrase, around parking and speed, but I think that includes... and we can add to that, the pavement, absolutely, and very definitely. So, yeah, I mean, in theory, I think it sounds good to bring some order to the chaos that is e-scooters.
Will it though?
But will it though? Exactly, Julia, because my worry, as you say, is the police don't enforce what we have at the moment. And I think, you know, the old broken window syndrome, you know, fix the broken window and you can fix the wider picture. I think that the use of scooters and actually even normal pedal cycles on pavements is a great example of that, where people feel that basically we live in a ruleless, effectively lawless jungle.
I love that on this we're in agreement.
Absolutely.
I was ranting at my family the other day about this. I said, genuinely, I think you know, litter in the streets, the riding on the pavement, the high speed, and I mean, again, I talked about it now. I literally was witness and put it out on Twitter. We identified the man. It's now up to the police. They won't take any action, but at least he closed all his accounts and he was scared. Good, as you should be. And he literally, in front of me and building site workers next, literally just rode into a dad with his sort of 8-year-old daughter next to him. He's going, no, get off the pavement. There's a sign. The guy literally rode past the sign saying, cyclists must dismount. And he was this middle-aged guy, runs a business, you know, Mr. Holier Than Thou. Oh, look at me, I cycle everywhere. And did not care at all. And I think this is just part of this general just sort of breakdown of, you know, it's the you know, the feet on seats on the bus.
That was what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's the playing your music, you know, it's the people who watch a video on their phone on public transport or I mean, these people, again, I come back to my sniper idea. It's the only way. The people who FaceTime loudly in a public, is having a private conversation in public. It's like, what? Hello? Other people are here. This general breakdown of civility, of courtesy, of just basic good manners. Now, for me, it's a parenting issue. If I found my daughter doing anything of that ilk, good luck. Good luck with getting through the rest of your life. I mean, seriously, I would go ballistic. I would not expect it to happen. I would expect someone, you know, in my street to say, by the way, did you know that? You know, you know, when I was a kid, literally, I mean, God, we were the people who, when we went to the beach, of course, we'd clear up any of our own mess. We had to have plastic bags to clear up other people's mess. But I just think we're getting to a point when there's just this breakdown of basic civility and thought for your fellow citizen. And I think it's become all pervasive. And I think it's just a general, people go, what's the point anymore? I won't care anymore.
Absolutely. I mean, I had a major row just about 10 days ago with a guy who had his feet on the seat, refused to take off and said, I can do what I want. And I think that's the attitude that...
And I think at that point, and in no way am I endorsing violence, it should be made legally, I'm covering myself legally here, that you can say, I can do what I want, and you could legally, were it the law, not asking anyone to break the law, punch him very firmly in the face.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be wonderful if you could do that, because I think you're right. It does lead to this general breakdown of civility.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so cyclists, I always shout at them when they ping their bell at you. There's this great mania. So they ping their bell even if you're not in their way.
No, I had a cyclist. I'm walking up in my cream coat, by the way. That bicycle tire was not going near my coat, I'm telling you that. And I was walking up the pavement, and there's building works in my street. We've had them for the best part of a year. It's breaking our souls. Moving along, but the pavement's very narrow. The bins are all out because the bin men won't collect the bins because there's road work. So we've got like about sort of half a metre to walk through. And let's go with Egypt. I think I'm allowed Egypt. That's not the word I'm thinking, people. Comes up behind me, pings his bell. I'm on the way to work. Pings his bell at me on his bike. And I literally went, don't ping your effing bell at me, mate. Get off your bike. And I just stood there, and I'm quite a big lass. I'm 5'11". I've got 2 bags. I'm literally just like, you're not getting past me. Get off your bike. And of course, I know I've got the workmen there. They all know me. They're used to it. I do it every day. And they're just literally like, they're all watching. Like, get off. Do not. On what planet did you think riding up fast behind me on the pavement and then pinging your bell was going to come out well for you?
They picked the wrong person, Julia. But
everyone. But I see people. I see women with buggies. Yeah. I see disabled people literally getting out of the way of these people on scooters and on bikes with their E or not, you know. And people are intimidated. And I think we need to kind of citizens. We need the nation as a whole to just say, no, we're done with this. No, we want this. The police aren't going to do anything about it. But like, you know what? If like 5 people went, get off your e-scooter, or, you know, you can't do that. These people are out of control. And I think if the police were tackling these people, I'm going to guess that a lot of the people who are behaving badly on these e-scooters and e-bikes and all of this, I'm going to guess if they were searched by the police, we may find other items on them. Certainly around my way, you've got your hoodie on, you're on your bike, you're on your e-scooter. Oh goodness me, you seem to be hanging around at street corners a lot. I wonder what you must be selling. Is it Kellogg's cereal? No, I don't think it is. I mean, you know, are you selling bin bags? You know, I mean, what are you selling? Oh, I can't imagine.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you've got, yes, absolutely. Those who are on the sort of hired e-scooters, you know, a search may well produce something else. And those who are pinging their bells, I shout at them, stop being a middle-class entitled cyclist as they ping their bell at me.
It's often the middle-class.
Absolutely, because I live near Waterloo Station. They've just got off the train at Waterloo and they're heading into their jobs in the civil service in Westminster, and they sort of think that nobody should be in their way.
Absolutely, this story is not true. Of course they're not heading into their jobs. They're working from home.
It's their 1 day a week they're going in.
Can I say, what do you make of the civil servants who are saying that to be happy, you need to work a 4-day week? Now, I know you're all going to shout, Julia, you're not in on Fridays. No, but I used to work a 6-day week for 5 years, and it got a bit tiring when I was getting up at 4:20 every day. All credit to Mike, all absolute credit to him. But we had rather less, we say, production support at that time, I'd like to point out. But also, I took a 20% pay cut to work for. I didn't expect to be paid the same to work fewer days. Now these civil servants are saying, oh well, we reckon we can work a 5-day week over 4 days. We want the same pay, and then we have a day to do our chores, a day to be with family, and a day to rest. I mean, what? What?
I'm afraid I think it's fairly... I think the public sector needs to watch itself and take a reality check, because it's a bit like the unions in the 1970s when, you know, they went a little bit too far. You know, things like TV where they, you know, they wouldn't pick up a camera box if it wasn't the right grade, that sort of thing. And of course it ended in the whole industry changing and in people sort of seeing the light, as it were.
Publishing, you know, no, you dropped the letter T. No, only Bill can pick up the letter T.
Exactly, yes.
We're all out on strike. The thing about this, you say they should watch themselves, except Labour are fully on board with this. We've got the likes of the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, saying, well, yes, you know, people should be moving to this sort of part-time work. We've got Liz Kendall, I mean, as we just mentioned, the Work and Pensions Secretary, laughably saying we shouldn't refer to people as being economically inactive when they're not working, because that dehumanises them. I mean, OK, A, stupid, doesn't. B, we started using the term economically inactive to refer to people who were not doing paid work, many of whom, they're not lying on the sofa all day. They're doing vital work, often a lot harder than what a lot of people's paid work is, caring for young children, caring for an elderly relative with dementia or a disabled relative. Or, a lot of people do a lot of work, volunteering, really vital work in our society, and they're economically inactive, as in they know they're not being paid and they don't pay taxes. But how is that dehumanising? That's insane.
Well, I think Liz is coming from a good place in her heart, which is that she wants to
control our speech.
She wants to recognise the carers and other people, as you say, who whose contribution should be valued. I think it's a bit over the top to say that the phrase economically inactive should be taken away. As you say, it was originally introduced so that he wouldn't label anybody who wasn't working in the paid work as unemployed.
Exactly. Again, I'm not having this government telling me what I can and can't say. I just simply refuse to have that happen. I mean, we see what happened with Alison Pearson, a Telegraph journalist, and a big outcry over that, over freedom of speech. I'm writing a column about it for the Sun newspaper tomorrow, and it is absolutely shocking, the policing of our language, and the fact that it happened under a Conservative government I find even more shocking. This Labour government, I expect it to get an awful lot worse, but I mean, an awful lot of people are going to have to be willing to get a criminal record to keep our rights to actually speak freely. Let's also talk about council tax bills, because council tax bills for the average family are set to rise by more than £100 in the spring. The government has said that hikes would be capped at 5%. So the limit at which councils can raise bills isn't changing, we are told. But there is paving the way for, there is nevertheless going to be bills going up. 5% will be almost 3 times above the level of inflation, which is presently at 1.7%. But of course, councils and other organisations, of course, dealing with inflation historically, and of course, minimum wage going up, national insurance for employers going up, you name it, energy bills, everything. They need more money at a time when people haven't got more money to give them. And £100 maybe not a lot to an awful lot of people, but actually that's another big sum, yet another bill on top of the water bill, the energy bill, the rent or the mortgage, the food shop, putting food in, putting gas in the car. I mean, every single bill is going up, and a lot of people are at breaking point.
Yeah, I mean, council tax is such a blunt instrument because it's not linked to your income, and because it's only linked to the size of your household. If you're a single person, you get
it's linked to the value of your home
in 1991. Absolutely. So it's which is completely disproportionate. Actually, people in London pay lower council tax bills than people outside London, even though their houses are worth more at 1990 in today's prices. So it's a crazy system. I mean, the problem is that all the fat in local councils has gone, and they are being driven to the edge by.
You say that.
But
they still seem to be able to afford, painting zebra crossings with rainbow paint. Have they got the money for that? And by the way, they spend 10 grand doing that. They don't just get four or five pots of paint.
Yeah, I think I don't mind them doing that if a couple of councillors go out and do it, but I think the issue is that it's social care is what is absolutely killing the local councils. Adult social care, particularly for seniors, but also children's social care. A friend of mine who's a councillor says that they can pay up to £15,000 a week for people who need constant 24/7 care. It's a completely dysfunctional and failed system. So rather than council tax bills going up every year, we need to look at this because it is absorbing. In some councils, it's like 60 and 70% of the
I'm
budget.
of the view that certainly when we talk about health and social care, we discussed it on the show yesterday, that and this idea that hospitals' bosses should be held accountable for waiting lists, and if they fail, they should lose their jobs. I mean, welcome to the real world, guys. But one of our guests, who's a former health secretary, pointed out actually, a lot of what can be achieved is totally out of the control of people running hospitals, because it's about how social care operates in the local area, and what GPs do, pharmacists and people they have no control over. And we've got a health and social care secretary. Why don't we just bring all social care into the purview of the health department and not local councils, fund it nationally, and make sure that that's funded, because councils haven't got the money, and we know there's been, 60% plus cut in budgets for local councils from central government. I think, frankly, they need to have the budgets cut. I think they've chosen to cut a lot of the wrong things a lot of the time, still spending money on ridiculous stuff. But if we did that, then we know that every penny spent on social care in the home is going to save a fortune for hospital care in the future. So that would actually help the NHS budget.
Absolutely, and of course, I mean, it incentivises it, because if you're in the NHS and you want to get your waiting list down, you want to get, use your hospital beds more efficiently, then you've got an incentive to make the social care system work. Whereas at the moment, councils have obviously got an incentive to try and keep the budget to spend as little as possible because they haven't got it. So you've got this huge, I mean, this awful phrase, bed blockers. I mean, that is a dehumanising phrase, but you continue to have that in the NHS. That I think is the biggest issue that I have with the government, is that it wouldn't implement the Dilnot report, which was these big reforms to how social care is paid for, and it hasn't focused enough on social care.
Absolutely.